You know, when I was small, we had that big CRT monitor. Okay, that typical TV, like a box, looks like a big ass box, and you have the, knob to switch channels. And those days there was no internet, there was no cable TV, at least we didn't have. There was an antenna, a big ass antenna where you have to turn it to get the signal to watch local TV programs. So there we used to get to watch a couple of American movies or American programs like Dallas, Knots Landing. This is the 80s, I'm talking of the 80s. Knight Rider, Airwolf. We used to get to see this program. We used to, we are very eager to watch them, And the movies that we used to watch, there was no Netflix, FYI. There was a VHS tape. You can Google search what that is. We had to go to a video shop, buy a tape, and every week we used to see one movie. And each one of us would get a turn, which movie would you like? So we would take a movie, action movie, and I remember those days, Rambo and Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies or Bruce Willis. Okay. Now the thing is, because there was no internet, and the only way we could get information was, talking to people or watching the news or watching TV programs, there was an image of the West that we, at least me and we Indians had. We would look at the West as being a very modernized, futuristic place. Like the cartoons, the Jetsons. Very modernized. The American male was always the alpha male, like Rambo. China was the bad guy. Russia was the bad guy. For the mother Russia, And they were always evil people. But the Americans were always fair. The Americans were always the hero. And the American hero was always a blue-eyed white boy. While the blacks were foul-mouthed, comedians like Eddie Murphy. The villains were always, some other nationality apart from US. Even in wrestling, Hulk Hogan versus the Iron Sheik from Iran. So oh goodness. So America was always a good guy. Americans were always smart. Americans were always superior. And we were obviously using American technology. Now being Indian, there was nothing, there was no movie. We used to watch the local, at least I never watched anything. But when we went to India for a holiday, there was this Indian news channel called Doordarshan. You can ask any Indian oldie, what is Doordarshan? Or you can ask him, what is this sound? This part of the video, ask him, what is this sound? Now, this is not some, horrific, satanic tune that I played just now. This is the intro music for the news. That was the intro music. Like today you have those days, this was the music. So India was those days before the 80s pretty backward, very agricultural, not modernistic. Like when we would travel to India, my family and I, we would take nuts, almonds, cashew nuts, pistachios from the airport. They would see the Snickers chocolate, they would see Cadbury's, they would see Twix. Wow, these are chocolates. So, because you could never get them in India, because that time they didn't open the economy for the global competition. I'm pretty sure this must have been the case with China and Russia. Technology was very backward, while America was pretty forward thinking those days. So you could say that the image of the West that we had was a typical James Bond kind of thing. Like, the American male was very smart, sharp, savvy, educated, modern. The women were very hot, blonde, sexy, beautiful. There were no poor people in the West. There were only rich people. And the dollar was mighty and powerful. However, today, now this is when I was 10 years old, 15 years old, even 20-year-old, I still thought the West was superior. Whites were a superior race. White women were, the greatest prestige you can have is a white female, a blonde female. Oh, you have an American girl, wow. Even today, you'd see so many. I have one Malayali friend, okay, very dark, very, very dark, Malayali guy. I will not give you his name, typical Mallu, okay, but because he's dark skin and he's black, okay, Malayali, he dresses up like Tupac, okay, and he tries to be like yo, with the big chains, and he likes to be like a, one of those African American rap artists kind of thing, and he likes to show his bling and cars, and so it's obviously influence of the Western culture. But the best part for him, he has an American girl, actual American. She's not blonde, and she is crazy about rap music, and she must be thinking this is a watered down version of African American, of black. So anyway, she gets the best of both the worlds, East as well as her Western template or concept or fantasy. Okay, not to hate on that guy, let him be happy. But the point I'm trying to make here is, we Asians and Indians always had this big thing that if you have a girlfriend or boyfriend from the West, you have a Gora skin, a white passport, you're superior. Even Filipinas in Dubai, I've had this female who I had an argument with. She told, do you know my boyfriend's fucking British? Yeah, I'm sure. You opened your legs and British sausage came inside. Ham, nice ham, Anyway, he dumped her after some time. But he was rich and she was beautiful, and she used to flaunt his wealth, car and lifestyle, and anyway, short-lived. So anyway, this is not a thing reserved for few. Many Indians, Pakistanis, Asians, Sri Lankans, whatever, Asian countries, they take a lot of pride. That is why even my wife, when I married my wife, so many Thai people, or even old ladies, old villagers, they said, is he from America, is he from Australia? Because of the tattoos, When she said India, oh, India, because they have that image, There is an element of truth in it. Now, the thing is, what India was, what Asia was, what Russia, what China was 25, 30 years ago, or like the examples I'm giving you 30 years ago, today it's totally different. Very, very different. Today, there are so many millionaires, billionaires, educated people, CEOs. The landscape has changed and technology is fast catching up. Agreed that USA still dominates in certain areas, but it's no longer the country it once was. And that fascination towards the West, because of the internet, because of information, accessibility, videos, We have realized America is just like any other country. They only show you on the media the best of the best. But the reality is they are having their own headaches. And yes, with politics and with their rules that they have, they like to, like they keep printing money and they keep getting themselves in debt. They don't bother to pay it back. Print more, print more. No other country is doing that. Only USA is doing the highest debt, unpaid. It's like I'm living a life taking loans and showing off. So, well, that is America. Anyway. But we tend to have this fascination towards the West. We think that the problem is not them only. The problem is we. There are so many Indians who think because they have white skin, white passport, blonde hair, they are superior. I know so many Indians, when they get a blonde wife, think someone from the West, they flaunt it as if this is the greatest accomplishment after getting a Harvard business degree, Why? It's like, wow. For the girl, it's exotic. Oh, I'm in a tribal region with tribal people. Namaste and the tika. Yeah, because you're not special in your country. Here you are an anomaly. So, fine, whatever. Okay. But now, what is the other side that people have realized, which is why the whites or the West or the Western lifestyle is no longer attractive, or people have realized it's pretty empty. Now, before you jump on the bandwagon, oh, this is racist and all that, listen to what I'm saying and tell me if I'm wrong. Okay. Now, the reason I'm taking the West and I'm using the white man, blue eye, blonde hair analogy is because we were brought up with the TV video, movie image of that is the West. Okay, but I'm just giving you a stereotypical, like when you say Indian and you think of Apu. When you think of Indian, you don't think of someone like me. You think of like, Prime Minister Narendra Modi wearing orange and namaste and all that. Okay. And when you say Russia, you think of, Rocky Part 4, that guy Russian. Oh, Mother Russia, I will break you, And China, you think Xi Jinping, All right. So now what is the reality of the West? And I'll tell you, it's kind of disappointing. And I think people have realized it slowly. Like, I'll give an example. A few days ago, one of my clients and close friends, I've told you about her many times in my video. She's a Miss Universe contestant. She was into modeling, movies. Today she is a corporate executive. She has quit that industry. Okay. She's very beautiful. She's well traveled, well educated, an enterprising woman. Okay. Now, the thing is, she can get any man she likes. And most of the men who chase her are the rich and successful. And she told me that the fascination towards the West is so stupid. Like, she sent me the funny thing, I'm staying in Samui, and she sent me a link of an ad of some people who are on this island. There's another island called Koh Phangan, where a couple of Westerners, they are holding a kind of Indian retreat. See the fun. Westerners, okay, from Britain, from UK, from Australia, from America, Canada, Westerners are holding an Indian retreat. That also with very nice words. The Ayurvedic, you'll get Ayurvedic healing, the Vedic chant, the chakras will be aligned. You'll be one with the spiritual Vedas and Tantric and and you'll see them with the tika and long hair and saffron and sitting like lotus position with Hindu god photographs and sitting on the floor. And I was just looking at the ad, and there they are showing these Westerners wearing beads and beads on the hand and doing namaste, namaste, and hugging each other. And in their retreat that they are busy hugging each other. Okay, you can be any guy, you can be any girl. They will hug each other. They will feel you. They are healing you, healing. They're healing, and everyone's quiet and joining their hands and sitting quiet and eating with the fingers, and they're saying the healing properties of the fingers. Oh goodness. Oh yeah, by the way, it's expensive, huh? It costs thousands and thousands of dollars to experience this. And and some of the other things which they are doing is so stupid. It's not even Indian, it's not even Vedic. They're sitting around a circle, there's a fire, and they're doing Om, and they're doing some, I don't know what they're doing, some spasmodic chant, and they're dancing. And initially there is no music, but they're dancing and dancing. Later on they put some Hindi, I don't know, CD or MP3 of some Hindi songs, the temple ones. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, and they are crying, and some are laughing, and some are, crawling on the floor, and they are, oh Ram, oh Sita. Okay. And after that, they bath themselves in the water, the sea water. And they're saying like the Ganjas. Ganja in Hindi is cocaine, I think cocaine or drugs. It's Ganga. It's Ganges. They say Ganges, like namaste. Okay, now why am I bringing this example? It's like as stupid as, when a guy gets a tattoo, he puts a Chinese alphabet, okay? To look like you have seen females with the Chinese alphabet of their name. Just imagine, have you seen a Chinese person put bread, salt, sandwich, water? Have you seen them write in English words like buffalo? Who the fuck does that, man? It's only this Westerners. Oh, this is an exotic alphabet. In fact, you don't know if it's what they put in Chinese and Japanese means I'm a dick. It's stupid. See, this is one example, okay? But there are so many more. In fact, you don't have to go very further. Check the lifestyle of the majority of the Americans, okay? Now, see here, before I even go further, be aware of the fact that I'm speaking of 300 plus million people. So all are different. Obviously, someone from Texas is different from someone from New York and someone from, let's say, Alabama. Okay. So now I'll give you a few basic issues, okay, the Americans have, which make no sense. Now, America is the only place in the world where you will hear the news. A 12-year-old or 13-year-old takes a gun and shoots at his, students and teachers. You'll not hear it in Japan. You'll not hear it in India. You'll not hear it in UAE. You'll only hear it in America. But American logic is, guns don't kill people. People kill people. But then the question is, why Japanese people are not killing Japanese? Why Indian people are not, students are taking a gun and shooting everyone? Why Arab students are not taking a gun and shooting everyone? Why is the maximum number of cases only in USA? It's not even happening in Australia. The reason being, okay, now before you say, oh, one incident happened, check the number of incidents, the frequency. Is because American logic is, in order to protect yourself from guns, give more guns. And from where does this sorry state of an excuse come from? They will tell you it is from our First Amendment right, our forefathers. Yeah, those days you needed the guns and all that. It's like, someone in India talking of having a trishul, that trident, or They are doing some traditional puja or something because it was done 50 or 100 years ago. They keep complaining and bitching about, oh, this religion has to evolve and grow with the times. Islam is backward. Isn't this stupidity? Okay, one is guns. The second one, they are preaching to the whole world about, oh, they are inhuman, they are racist, this is not proper. Well, the funny thing is, some of the most horrific racist crimes were committed by USA. Look at the apartheid that was there, black segregation. Look at having so many slaves. Which country had that? I agreed, other countries also had these problems. But America is standing on a high horse to lecture everyone. When today, even today, you have so much of emphasis on racism. Black lives matter, white lives matter, yellow lives matter. Oh, we need LGBTQ community. We need the Q, we need the bisexual, we need transsexual, we need... I mean, you're dividing. It's like they assume that they are so modern, so forward thinking, that they have to divide people. Like, what are you doing with Black Lives Matter? You are focusing on black versus white. Now you'll say because blacks are being, unjustly treated. Yeah, because the media picks up those stories where they show black people in a bad light. See, a very simple thing. America is a country which rewards you. If you have a broken family, you get help from the government. So why do you think the female will be more than happy to break up the relationship? She can get free help and assistance from the government. Oh, I'm a single mother, I need these perks and benefits. Oh, I have 2-3 children, you have to pay for all of them. Look at the health. They're such an advanced country. Look at the obesity in USA. They are supposed to be modern. They are supposed to be forward thinking. Look at the junk food that they eat. Oh, these are corrupt politicians and corporations. Well, you can't deny the reality that this is your lifestyle. How many people are gorging on burgers and pizzas and sugary drinks? Okay. So I spoke to you about guns. I spoke to you about racism. I spoke to you about the diet. Now, America is supposed to be a progressive country, right? See how many people died because of the COVID. Such a modern country. It has the maximum number of nuclear weapons, but it has absolutely pathetic, what do you say? There's absolutely no weapons, as you can say, to protect them from diseases. Health, what health? Okay. So it's a shame, right? And look at the medicines. You think it's cheap? Bloody expensive. In fact, life in USA, look at the number of homeless people. Look at the number of unemployed. Look at the number of people who... There are people who prefer to be unemployed so that they can get free money. Like, I'll ask you a simple thing. In India, if you're unemployed, you think the government is going to give you free handouts? China, you're unemployed, free handouts? No. So you'll say, see, that is the greatness of the Western nation and this and that. That's bull, man. When you know that you don't get free handouts, it's like a child. If the child knows, my mom and dad will pick me up, they'll be crying. Then, oh, my poor baby. So the baby knows, I can afford to be lazy. But if the child falls down and realizes nobody gives a fuck, the child will get up. Self-reliance. So where is the self-reliance at these Western countries? In fact, they have a sense of entitlement. Next point number, 5 or 6 or whatever. They think that they're very progressive and knowledgeable. Let's have the classic case of this transgender. Today, Americans have actually to have the debate. What is a woman? They're actually asking, does woman have a penis? They're actually having a debate. Oh, he can identify himself as a female. I will respect his rights. She is gender fluid. She's a man. Oh, he has a penis, but he feels like a woman. Yeah, because he's a woman. And they want to sound like they are very modern, very futuristic, very understanding. No, you're fucking stupid. You're fucking stupid. That's what you are. And the corruption. America will bomb Iraq and destroy the country and say, because of weapons of mass destruction. And then after, oh, sorry, it was a mistake. That's okay, no problem. Let's all move on. It can do that to the Iraqi people. It's okay. It can do that to Afghanistan and just run away from there and leave them hanging. Okay. Whichever country there has been a war, US has been involved in it directly or indirectly. They can destroy countries in the name of whatever excuse you want to put. Human rights, democracy, and they'll destroy the country. But if anyone else were to do it to protect, like Russia, no, that is evil. Like for example, an American billionaire is an entrepreneur. Russian billionaire is an oligarch. Russia having its weapons is weapons of mass destruction. America having the weapons is to protect the nation. You know, this double standards. You know, it's and Russia is sharing fake news. America is what, giving real news? What does Twitter do? What does Facebook do? What does, I mean, look at the media outlets. They will just spew their narrative. Oh, we believe in freedom of speech, which is why we will block Russian fake news channels. Or we will remove their channel, we'll ban them. And then you get the other side, which is so extreme. Oh, this alien reptilian race is actually morphed into the president of USA and they're there. You know who I'm talking about. Infowars. See, the problem is you have a lifestyle where the government will take care of you, where you're self-entitled, where you believe you're superior, and you have a visa on arrival, you can travel anywhere in the world, and people want your dollars, your currency. So when they come down, oh, namaste, oh, swadika, they feel like a king. In their country, they're a bum, they're nothing and nobody, but here they are a king. So they think, oh, I'm superior. That's why they come here. Excuse me, do you speak English? Do you speak English? And they make fun of people who don't speak English. Do you speak the bloody local language? See, don't get me wrong. I'm grateful that I know English. Okay, I'm grateful that because of the printing that took place in, you know, medieval times, industrial printing, I'm able to read books. Yes, YouTube is an American company. Yes, the internet was created in USA. Credit should be given where credit is due, but that doesn't mean we just ignore everything else, everything that is wrong, everything that is imperfect, everything that is unjust. It's like, you know, when I criticize India for corruption and rape, they say I'm a traitor. They say, yeah, why are you pointing at the corruption and rape in India? Look at the corruption and rape in USA. So by looking at the rape and corruption in USA, everything is okay in India. If I have a fault, there are drawbacks that I have. Should I look at someone else's drawback and say, see, he's fat, he's unhealthy, he's a smoker, he's a drinker, so I'm okay. In fact, let me end with one final example, just to give you a nutshell of this. You know, I've always had the fascination for white women. I always wanted a blonde girlfriend, American. I finally ended up getting one. Okay, I'll not give you specific details. This female, beautiful, she's very beautiful, but she was single, and I just always wonder why she's single. Okay, and she had a son. The son was a teenager, is a teenager, and we got involved, and I would do my best to be nice to him, and okay, everything was fine. But you know, that was the initial romantic phase. Once I got to know this female and I ended up staying with her, her son, just hear me out. This is a female from USA, okay? Normal female. She used to roam naked in the house. absolutely stark naked. After a shower, she would walk naked. She and her son both. Like if her son had a shower, he would roam naked. If she had a shower, she would roam naked. I would find this very bizarre. One day I even asked, and one day after a shower, walking naked, she dries herself, and now she is combing, and the son walks in the bedroom. She's like, it's normal. I'm sitting there, I'm like looking at what the fuck is happening here. And he goes out. Then I ask her, like, you're naked in front of your son. He's a teenage boy. What are you doing? She's like, Loy, just because you come from a backward culture, she's telling me, that doesn't mean we are backward. I said, what do you mean by that? She's like, Loy, my son doesn't look at me sexually. Oh, okay. So that's why it's okay to roam naked. See their logic. My son doesn't look at me sexually, so it's okay to be naked. Okay, fine. That was one. Now I know what you'll say. Loy, this is not normal. This is one. Yeah, I agree with you. This is a one-off incident, one-off character. Not everyone is like, you don't see all the Americans roaming naked. Although there are nudist colonies and all that, that's a different thing. Fine. But listen, just play along. One day, when I was walking this thing in the house and just moving to my room, taking my laptop, I saw this guy's room. He has a room. The typical American children have a room. And the door was open. I just looked in just to say hi to him. He has lifted his legs like this. There's a monitor there. He's watching porn. And you know what he's doing. Okay. I was like, what? He didn't bother to close the door. And no sooner he saw it, what the fuck, you motherfucker? He's calling me all that, and he slammed the door. At least ask a fucking permission, you pervert. He's telling me. And he went on shouting and all that. Fine. Kept quiet. And after that day, he started calling me a fucking brownie. Hey, curry eating. He started his racist insults, which obviously the mother before used to keep quiet. And later on, I addressed it and I said, please, this has to stop. So I was, being nice and okay, fine. And last, if not the least, the part which I couldn't take it anymore was when I realized that this female was supposed to be this pious woman and woman of character. I found out from another American friend of hers that she was involved in twosome, threesome, foursomes, sex parties and rave parties, and she was into pot and weed, and basically she was trying to act like a nice female in front of me, but she had a dark history. And when I confronted her, she said, Loy, how dare you, what, you can't be intrusive about my privacy and blah, blah, blah. Finally, she admitted, she's like, so what? Have I had a colorful past? You haven't? In fact, I even discovered she had photographs where she would sit without an underwear and open her legs, and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't. This is too much for me, please. And broke off with her, and after breaking off, her son was wanting to cause major harm, and he's a teenager. Anyway, what the fuck he has to do? So I just made sure through some police, bye-bye, okay. Now you'll say, Loy, this is a one-off case, okay. I can give you like this so many incidents, like meeting another American, working for a tech giant, who comes down to Thailand and is constantly seeking underage girls. He has gone to Philippines, he has gone to Vietnam. How I know this? When he was drunk, he was actually bragging about it, and guys are laughing. Imagine guys in a bar were sitting there with my friend, and they're just talking as if, hey, have you seen a age, her thing? Oh, if you put a tongue inside in there. I was like, man, I can't sit and listen to this. And he's a family man, huh? Now, obviously, you say, oh, this is not everyone. Agreed. I agree with you. This is not everyone. But I'm telling you how the other side, which you don't hear, you don't see, you don't talk about. See, overall, it's not that all the Americans are bad. I've had mentors who are Americans. I've had coaches. I've had clients. I've had friends. But I can tell you one thing, the people from the West, they are not as perfect as you paint them to be. You don't have to look very further. Just go on YouTube and look at some of the profiles of these crazy viral content. Like there's one female, her name is Lizzie or something. She's this huge fat, like she's so big, and you'll see every video of her twerking her fat filled lard ass. And she'll wear this thong, and she'll bend over to show her butthole, and she's like she's actually she has, I think, millions of followers, and she's saying body positivity. Accept yourself, don't be ashamed. You have role models like Kim Kardashian, who's a do I even need to tell you? So, you know, their values are empty. Not all, but so many of them. But they'll go around lecturing the whole world about, oh, you know, democracy, our allies, strategic partners, and blah, blah, blah. So what is my conclusion to this video? It is not to start hating the people from the West. Neither it is to, you know, paint everyone with one single brush, but rather to educate you that there is the other side. Don't put them on a pedestal. Don't put them on your head. They are not as great as you think they are. They are not as like, wow. They are not like gods or like, you know, I used to always think like, oh, like when I'd see a white, oh, sir, yes, sir. No, there's nothing sir about them. Take it from me, you go to the West, go to USA, and you see them, you'll realize there's so much that they don't show you in the media. The poverty, the reality, the drugs, the homelessness, the problems. In fact, I'll just conclude by telling you one thing. I once met this Delhi businessman, okay, CEO of a multiple number of industries. We had a meeting with him, I with my boss and him. And we were eating, he was eating chapati and all that, you know, simple guy eating onions and dal and all that. And those days still I was this young guy who still fascinated about the West and had this fascination. So I asked him, did you travel the world? He said, yes. I've traveled every country. I asked him, USA. Hey, USA? What USA? So I said, oh wow, you go to USA. He's saying, he immediately looked at me and saying, what USA? I was like, oh, okay. Because he said it in a way that was, he's saying, why you're admiring USA? What is USA? He's saying, fuck USA. Don't get me wrong, this is what he said. He said, when I go to the immigration and he says, what is your purpose of visit? I tell him, I'm investing millions of dollars here. I'm giving employment to so many of your people. You're asking me, what is my purpose? He's saying, my purpose is to help you people. He's saying, I have millions. They can't deny me entry. He's saying, they need me, I don't need them. Now, obviously, it is not the case with all Indians. But, you know, he made me realize, like, sheesh, if you have money, you're a boss. Why do you think there are so many Indians nowadays, or forget Indians, non-Americans? They can be from even Africa or wherever. They'll have a hot white babe. Now, I'm not even talking Russian. I'm not even talking, no, you can have the best of the best. If you have the money, you can have whatever you want. So the bottom line here is, this is not a video to hate people in the West, but rather to tell you, stop fantasizing about them. In fact, that same model friend who I told you about, she said, Loy, they're so disgusting. I said, why? Loy, they don't even use water to clean their ass. They just wipe it with a tissue and they make fun of others. Imagine you ate something with your fingers, and after eating, you don't wash it with soap and water. Just wipe it with a tissue. Is it clean? So imagine how dirty their asses were. This is what she do. Loy, their private parts must be so dirty and filthy. And then they talk about eating, you know what. I was like, oh, okay, I didn't hear that. You know. See, overall, keep a balanced perspective. Don't be ashamed of who you are. There are imperfections in India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, At the same time, there are also imperfections in USA, Russia, Europe. If you look at everyone through the lens of being a human being, minus the nationality, the color of the skin, and you'll realize we are all the same, man. Just different backgrounds and different beliefs, and we're all the same. So don't get fascinated by what you see in the media. Most probably what you see in the media is not a template of reality. It is just imagination. Like you see Rambo. Rambo is not real. Knight Rider not real. Airwolf not real. Hulk Hogan wrestling not real. These Avengers not real. It's like watching an Indian movie where you see the guy walking slow motion and one dish and everyone's flying up and the cars are up in the air, and that is not India. Anyway, I just wanted you to get a perspective. Tell me if I'm right. Yes, jobs and dollar value and technology. But then I leave you with this. Why do they search for Indian born? Why they are not going for US? The top companies of the world today have Indian brains. Top tech and top whatever. Figure that part out. Anyway, this is what I wanted to share. Let me know your thoughts. This is me signing off. You guys take care.